Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And I just wanted to start off to let people know that there are two important life lessons that you should never forget. Number one, no matter where you go, there you are. And number two, when you get there, sometimes you see an elephant, and sometimes you don't. It is lightish outside. Thumbs up for that. It's not raining. It wasn't raining last night. It was kind of chill. Still having to wear my plaid shirt as a jacket. Still can't wear an actual jacket or I will overheat and die. So thumbs up for that. But went out for walkies and had therapy yesterday, and I survived the day. And hopefully if you're watching this, you survived the day. Otherwise, welcome to undeath. And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very cool. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful and literally awesome people who are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my aging pet metabolizing. If you would like to help to keep me and my aging pet metabolizing, I have links to my Patreon in the video description, along with links to a PayPal for possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like pet food, and a post office box so that if you send me anything at all, I will show it off on camera and then we will all go, wow, that's cool. So thank you. I only ask for postcards and keychains. Front loading videos over. Oh, I've got gas trying to escape my body. Yay, I drank soda this morning. I mentioned in one of my Minecraft videos, I have slight hydration problems. I have problems drinking water. Number one, it doesn't have a real flavor, and we don't have good water in any place that I've ever lived in, and so it just doesn't taste good. And then number two, most of my life, just plain water will quite often leave me feeling sick to my stomach. And if it doesn't do that, it just leaves me feeling very hungry, unpleasantly so. So I don't like drinking water, but I know I need to drink fluid. So most of my life, I have drank chemically laced water, sodas. I still do that. I drink about two 2-liter bottles of caffeinated store brand diet sodas because this stuff has flavor and there's enough particulates in it that it doesn't leave me feeling sick to my stomach like I'm going to vomit. Thumbs up. Past that, though, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about today. One really disturbs me because put with all of the other things that are happening, the freight train that's driving right at a cliff face, we are going faster and faster and faster. We can't get into the freight to stop the person at the front from making it go quicker, and we can't stop the train, and it's gonna crash real soon. I have just recently turned 60. In my only 60 years of life, after watching this video where they talk about, it used to be when you drove around, you'd have bugs splattered all over your windshield. You don't anymore. Why? On the face of our planet, 70% of everything is gone. 70% of all insect life gone. 70% of the birds that used to live out there, gone. 70% of the wildlife, gone. It's all gone. It's dead. We are in the middle of a mass extinction event of which we are the cause. In my only 60 years of life, from the time I was born in 1962, 70% of the wildlife on the land has died. Oh my God, because that's not slowing down. That has been speeding up. Combine that with cities and states and all this where they're going, gosh, look at the water levels in our lake. It's gone down so far. We're going to have to put emergency things into plan until things get better. They're not getting better. Lakes are vanishing. Rivers are drying up. This is bad. Very, very bad. I never thought I would actually see this. Holy smokes. If you are anything younger than I am, oh my God, I am so sorry. You are not beginning your life, but you are living in, this is one of those dystopian apocalyptic movies. Only as stated, we can't get into the engineers part to stop them from driving at the cliff, because driving at that cliff face at 200 miles an hour, in fact, stoking the engine so it goes faster and faster, knowing that they're going to hit that wall and crash and kill everyone. They're living good today. Who cares about tomorrow? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. This is not going to get better. It is the middle of January. It is basically spring outside. It's not going to get better. And we have all of our communities just treating this like it's just a temporary thing. It's not. We already have millions of climate change refugees in the United States, where the government is relocating these people because their homes are they're vanishing. Oh. But there's nothing I can do about it. So, I also want to talk about some other things. I have a lot of stuff written down here now, and after that, I don't know how much of it I'm going to get to. Part of it, I did take some Benadryl to sleep last night. The bad part about taking Benadryl is I sleep better than if I don't take Benadryl. But when I do take Benadryl, the next day I am just logy. I feel thick and slow. It's harder to concentrate and get moving. And then, it's almost 8:30. I'd be running a little bit better than I am right now. I am still just that hangover from the Benadryl. So, yay. At least I slept, sort of, like for about 4 or 5 hours. Also, though, here, Postal 1 I wanted to talk about, since Jesse Koskinen had mentioned they had never played any of the Postal things. It's easy to Google. You can always look on Steam to find out exactly about the Postal stuff, but since I love the Postal series and Running with Scissors, I'm going to talk about a bit how I feel and what it all is. I played the first Postal when it first came out, like 20 some odd years ago, and then got away from it, and then like 10 years and back started getting back into Postal. Yeah, it's called Postal because back in the 90s, postal workers were shooting people, and it was called Going Postal. So that's a joy. So this game is called Postal because the postal dude, just runs through town slaughtering everyone with as much weaponry as he can. He's gone insane, literally. He's nuts and just on a vast slaughter fest. And it's a 45-degree angle, isometric, sometimes just straight top down, depending on what's happening, game where you run through and kill everyone. You can't leave the map until the bad guys are dead, but if you really want to, take out all the civilians too. 100% the map. And there's not really a sense of humor to it, other than there's just silly situations, some silly lines, but it's grim. Postal 2, on the other hand, and then Postal 3, which nobody talks about, because Running with Scissors licensed a Russian company to make Postal 3. And oh my God, they hate Postal 3. In fact, on their website, if you click on the Postal 3 link, it takes you to a Rickroll. So thumbs up on that. But Postal 4, which they're coming out with now, has the same kind of sense of humor as Postal 2. And there's the Postal Brain Damaged, which is a kind of an arena shooter. And yet it's also a Postal game that works. So there's a lot of really silly, goofy stuff going on with the Postal guy, and that's good. The thing is, they really took it in just a silly direction. In fact, again, if you don't want to hurt anybody, you don't have to. You can play the entire game front to beginning and win the game without actually having to kill anyone. Sometimes it can be difficult because they really took it in a bizarre and silly direction. The individuals are having constant shootouts with themselves and cops. They have protesters that you have to watch out for. One of the first ones is you work for the running with scissors in the Postal 2 game. You show up to get your paycheck and you are fired. But to get through there, you have to pass through some people that are like Parents for Decency or some such, and they're protesting those people that make violent video games. And they protest, and then they decide that it's time to take matters in their own hands, and because video games make people violent, and they want to stop violent video games, they take out their guns and they start shooting all the people and running with scissors. And then from that point on, whenever you see these people, they try to take you out. Later on, you've got to take a book back to the library. You have protesters there. They're going with their signs, save a tree, burn a book. And then they set the library on fire, and you got to watch out for them. It is very silly, since especially one of the weapons you have is you can unzip your pants and urinate on everyone and everything everywhere. If you urinate on an NPC and you urinate on their face and in their mouths, they will double over and puke. If you urinate on a donut and then put the donut on the floor and a cop walks by, the cop will pick up the donut and eat it. And then because you urinated on it, they'll double over and start vomiting. It is that kind of game. Very silly, very goofy. Thumbs up for that. And I just wanted to talk about it because I really like that game. And then really quick on this one as well. When I think about my various settings, a lot of what happens if I don't have a deep thing to think on is I just bounce from place to place doing a little bit of work. A lot of it seems to be like the busy, mindless minutia that no one would care about, except I have to make the world work for me. Plus, I like to think about the various implications of various things. Now, I'd mentioned before how there are 3 philosophical viewpoints on cryptids devouring someone. They'll devour you out of love. They want to take you into themselves. 2 people becoming one. You will become 2 in 1 forever. You will become a part of them. And then there's contempt. They will eat you as just a sign of contempt because now you're nothing at all, are you? And then there's just hunger, where they're just going to eat you and they're not even paying attention to you. Sure, you're screaming as they're devouring you, but again, when you eat a corn chip crunches because corn chips crunch when you eat them. People scream when you eat them because when you eat them, people scream. So you don't pay attention to a corn chip crunching, you don't pay attention to a person screaming as you devour them alive. But there's also not eating someone as a sign of contempt. And I'd also done that before a little bit, where when this one person starts bringing lucha libre and luchadors and that kind of wrestling to Brookerton, South Carolina, Cornetto gets involved with this other type of back street type boxing. And after he beats the person, well, the cryptid, to the point where they are going to die from their injuries, he will leave them and not devour them just as a sign of contempt. This one older cryptid that I've talked about, one of the old school suburban cryptids, where since suburbia is dying out in America and has been and will continue to, there are fewer and fewer suburban cryptid types of his type. So he's of the old school one. They live amongst, they work amongst, they grow up, they marry, they mourn when their partners die and are mourned by the community in turn when they pass. Since he's been traveling, since the death of his late wife, well, of course, late wife, his wife Emma to cancer, she's been gone for about 12 years, and then when he finally had to retire, the house, the empty house, that silence was just too deafening. So he sold everything, got an RV, and he's just traveling the U.S. and seeing things. Since a lot of suburban cryptids look upon normal human beings as just stupid cattle, not in a contemptuous or even negative way. Most cryptids, 95% plus, look upon humans with just a neutral, pleasant view at worst. Even the ones that devour people, it's not out of hatred, nothing at all like that. So, but he travels, and if he's where some cryptid is going to start bad-mouthing people as just stupid cattle, well, he's going to roll up his sleeves and he's going to wipe the floor with you to show you the error of your ways. You don't call the memory of his late Emma cattle. And again, he will beat you within an inch of your life and leave you just bleeding on the floor. And it's like when they say something like, "You're not even going to eat me." And it's like, no. In my 70 plus years of life, I haven't eaten anyone, human being or cryptid. And believe me, I am not about to start with a piece of trash like you. And then turn them to leave. Total contempt. Not going to eat them out of contempt. So thumbs up for that. Let's see, there is some other stuff that I did want to talk about. I guess not a whole lot there, but one of the things that I do find funny, and I've mentioned this before, and I just wanted to talk about it a bit more because it's because of the absurdist part of this, where people can be involved in my setting of the cryptid stuff with just this horrific violence, and someone can just say, "Wait." And it's entirely possible that the cryptid who is caught up in just total instinctive loss of intellect and just reveling in the blood and violence, and then it's like, "Wait," and it's like, bing, okay, what? And then everything stops, and then even the victim has just this, they're involved in a quick moment of crystal clarity and reason where they're able to stop and discuss this thing dispassionately. Even as this one person, has like half of their body torn open with their intestines, strewn about the courtyard, they're still like, "Oh, I understand why you're tearing my legs off. It's just, have you ever thought about whether it's actually helping you?" And because it's so absurdist, I of course find that absolutely hysterical. And I've opened up 24 hours for the comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, so we have Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, thank you, and good to see you in the comments, and hopefully you have a very good weekend. And we have Chris, oh boy, I need to stop snacking. I've gained back all the weight I took a couple months losing. J-A-Y-Y, thumbs up, thank you, good to see you. Floramu, indeed, hail hydrate. And then there is Samantha Constable, thumbs up, thank you. And we have Cherry TV. I love Minecraft too. It is a great game. And then we have Kryptonite. I love slowing down songs like that. The more horrific it sounds without just being lost in artifacting, the better. We have RJ Mitchell, greatly appreciated, thumbs up, thank you, and good to see you. There is Merkrel, who does say a bunch of things that is true when I was playing by D100 Dungeon. I miss a lot. I am horrified and amazed when I go through to edit my videos, because I will do I'll be in the middle of a combat round. I'll say, okay, I've got to do this with these monsters, and then they're going to be attacking, and all this is going to happen, and then I got to roll for treasure. And then, in the next moment, I'll say, okay, now that the next combat round is beginning, and I'll just leave all that. It's horrifying, but hopefully people do find them at least halfway amusing. There is Granny Goose. Thumbs up, thank you, and I will have to check that out. Jay Sandstra, thank you very, very much. And here, Chalky, thumbs up, thank you. Greatly appreciated, every single person who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Hit me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people. If only for a short time, and if only in text. But hey, thumbs up for that. Well, it's a Friday, and I had therapy yesterday, and I'm going to be struggling not to fall asleep the first half of the day. I want to get The Drifter recorded. That's a definite thumbs up, so hopefully I'll be able to get that done. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done. That'd be cool. But if you can't, don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help you. It's just going to make you feel bad. And of course, with your situation, no matter what, if people are getting sick, take precautions. If people are getting hurt, take precautions. If you're out walking and you hear the mournful howl of the bus horn, the bus with your name on it, well, there's no precautions you can take. I mean, that bus is going to hit you, and your corpse is going to just be smeared. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.